talk to you all about distracted driving. What is distracted driving? Distracted driving is pretty much any activity that is performed while you're driving that diverts the driver's attention away from the primary task, driving. All kinds of distractions basically put yourself, other drivers, passengers, and any bystanders at risk. Some examples of distracted driving are texting, which is probably the most popular, using your cell phone, eating and drinking, talking to other passengers, doing things such as grooming, like applying your makeup or shaving while you're driving, reading. I've actually seen that, someone reading a newspaper while they're driving, using your navigation system, watching a video, even adjusting your radio. You're not putting your full attention to driving, you're focusing on something else. In the state of Virginia, 8 out of 10 accidents are actually due to distracted driving. Last year, there were reports of over 171.3 billion text messages that were sent just in 1 month. So you can imagine how many people are actually texting while they're driving. Texting while driving is shown to make you 23% more likely to get into an accident. So in response to this, last year we all know that the state of Virginia banned texting while driving in an effort to cut back on as many accidents as we could. As of 2012, 39 states have prohibited text messaging while you're driving, and another 32 states have actually prohibited cell phone use by young and novice drivers. However, no state has gone as far as Japan actually, as to prohibit the use of all cell phones while driving. Dozen of countries, including the 18 of the European Union members, prohibit the use of handheld devices while you're driving, which I think is interesting, being that we're one of the few countries that still allows it in most states. Texting while driving is considered the most dangerous activity to perform while driving out of all the ones I listed, and that's because it takes not only your hands off the wheel, your eyes off the road, but uses up to 40% of your brain power to focus on doing both manual and visual tasks at the same time. I know I'm guilty of reaching for my phone while I'm driving. I do it all the time, and every time I do it, I have to remind myself that it's really, in the grand scheme of things, is that text message or checking Facebook or that email really that important that it can't wait until I get to the store or get to park home or the parking lot or whatever. Looking at your cell phone while you're texting takes your eyes off the road for at least 4 seconds. That is enough time for you to actually travel the length of a football field, including the end zone, without looking at the road. While banning texting while driving is a great start, what about banning all the other forms of distractions? Studies show that engaging in any visual and manual subtask increases the risk of crash by 3 times. Studies also show that there's actually no substantial difference between using a handheld device and a hands-free device. So just putting your Bluetooth or connecting to your Bluetooth system while you're driving actually doesn't make it any safer, yet everybody still is banning the use of handheld devices. I know, like when you drive on base, you can't pull your cell phone out for anything. You can't be talking on your phone unless it's hands-free, but it actually doesn't really show, studies don't show that it actually makes it any safer. Can we really ban things like eating, applying your makeup, shaving, or even looking at your map while you're driving? That's debatable. Question is, why is distracted driving such a big problem? Well, we already talked about this a little bit, but basically the main reason is because it increases your risk of accident. It takes your full attention off the road and other drivers. A survey by the American Automobile Association showed that 58% of motorists recognize the dangers of distracted driving, And out of that same people, 55% admitted to doing it anyway. So we know that it's dangerous, but we still do it. I can say that for myself too. Distractions that impair driving ability come down to 3 different categories. Manual, taking your hands off the wheel. Visual, taking your eyes off the road. And cognitive, which is your mind's diverted from the task. Reality is that we simply cannot ban using the radio, eating, shaving, applying makeup while driving. There's just no way you're going to be able to make that illegal. Even banning the use of handheld devices and making everything hands-free still isn't going to solve the problem of distracted driving, being the risk of so many accidents. The debate continues. How do we address the issue of distracted driving? Right now, my solution is simple. We need to continue to raise awareness of the dangers of distracted driving. You see lots of commercials these days about texting and driving, but we don't see many commercials about how distracted driving can affect you from things like shaving, eating, or people trying to read their newspaper while they're driving down the road. I think there should be stiffer fines and stiffer consequences for traffic violations or accidents that are caused by distracted driving. So if you're pulled over for running a red light and the cop can prove or saw you doing any of these items that are considered distracted driving, I think it should be a stiffer fine for breaking that than if because how many times are you going to run a red light while you're actually paying attention to the road? The reason you're not paying attention is because it's due to distracted driving. So, put down all those things. Pay attention when you're driving. In reality, how much time are you really saving yourself by applying your eyeshadow on the way to work instead of doing it once you get to the parking lot or before you leave your house? And is that 10 minutes that you saved yourself really worth your life or the life of someone else? Thank you. You run red lights because I told her I was pregnant.
You see, in New
That's a different
Jersey,
thing.
if you get caught anyway,